Okay, so I want to talk to you about bank robbing. There was
In Bremerton?
Yeah, last week there was a dude that robbed 2 banks, right? So he robbed one bank, changed his clothes, went and robbed the other bank. I don't remember reading how much supposedly he got out, right? Jordan brought it up to me, and I was like, honestly, like, who fucking cares? And then I said, actually, I think the first thing I said is, the average take from a bank robbery is like $2,000. Like it's very small. It's not very much money because most people go in by themselves. They shut the safe or the
you're not getting into the
vault
safe
immediately. Yeah. So you get whatever is in the drawers, which is not that much, because you get to like a certain point in your drawer and you got to take it to the vault. They don't let you just keep stacking all
People
day.
have been robbing banks for a very long time. They got a system pretty down packed at
It
this
just
point.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you're not walking out with 200 G's and 20 G's. You're not filling up suitcases and shit.
So then we started talking about robbing banks, right? Not like
As
we
one
should
does.
rob a bank, but like
concept.
the concept of robbing banks and kind of the modern ethics of robbing banks, And so I think Jordan was the one that posed to me, like, is it really like that wrong, to people be robbing a bank in modern times? So I started talking about, like, well, all money, a vast majority of banks are FDIC insured. So if you're hitting a bank, the likelihood is the money is insured up to whatever, 150 grand, whatever it is, So the whatever money you're taking, you're only taking from this institution. It's not coming out of anybody's pockets other than whatever bank you've just robbed it from. And in the end, it's really coming from the government because they're going to be reimbursed for the money that you took.
Yes, the whole FDIC thing it exists for reasons.
It's the government that's going to be paying out this money. So it's really who you've stolen money from. And so I think that the thing that we've almost been brainwashed to keep thinking this is a bad thing, because so long as you're not doing harm to other people in the process, that you're not like shooting somebody, hitting anybody, doing anything like that, right? You're going in, you're threatening somebody, which is not a good thing. You shouldn't be doing that. But
that's bad news.
You do that in effect to get this money, you leave, like that's done.
Okay.
Right?
What's the problem there?
Is this still a moral question? Is it still a bad thing to be doing? Is it just a mentality we're operating under as a society still this is a bad thing to be doing? Like, what's the line on robbing banks?
It's still theft of property that does not belong to you, so it is inherently immoral and wrong. We have laws against it for reasons because, even though by the end of the day the government and the Federal Reserve has fucked up the money supply and our entire relationship with money, it's essentially going to be like a drop in the bucket as far as everyone's concerned. Our taxes aren't going to go up for it, but you're going to be doing some kind of infinitesimal decimal. You're stealing that money that the government is then going to have to put in, to the FDIC or whatever it is, so that people get their money back.
They set money aside for it every year. It's written into the budget. There's X amount of money for the FDIC to give out every year because of robberies.
And that's robberies and fraud is essentially like the two biggest things for it. But robbery has gone way down for a number of reasons. But no, at the end of the day, regardless of the institutional backing and possibly the net worthlessness of the cash you're stealing, don't hurt people, don't take their stuff. You're still taking people's stuff. Whether or not a bank as an institution is a moral institution, at the end of the day, you're still stealing from people, still stealing from somebody, and that is going to be inherently wrong. And if you don't, as a society, decide that stealing money from a bank is wrong, then you literally just get rid of currency. Done. It's game over at that point. If you're going to allow society to have little to no backlash against a thief like that, that's going to steal money from people, I mean, the entire fabric of society kind of fades away, because then everybody just gets to steal money from everybody, and money is entirely worthless. On an institutional level, we have arguments about whether money actually exists or not, but we still use it as our currency. So it still has inherent value to most people. And so you're still stealing. It's still theft. It's still inherently wrong. I think that even from a libertarian standpoint, you can pretty easily make the argument that bank robbery is wrong. You're not, because even though technically the vast majority of it is controlled by the federal, it comes from the Federal Reserve and then it's insured by the federal government, the money still belongs to somebody at the end of the day, and morally that's wrong. Don't take people's stuff. Money in the bank is technically supposed to be the people who deposit their money. That's their money. That's or even if you get past that level, you give it over to the institution and it's not your money anymore. They just owe you money in return. Then you're stealing money from the institution of the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I am, out of all the hot takes that I am not pro bank robbery. We'll do that. Not to mention, you have to infringe on a bunch of other people's rights to get to that point of stealing that money anyways. You're still going to threaten people with harm. You're still going to trespass on somebody's property. The minute you walk in there with the intent to steal, that would be trespass at that point. So you're walking all over people's rights to steal money from what may or may not be a government institution, but still, inherently wrong. I am anti-bank robbery. One of the few things I'm anti these days.
Okay.
I get where your mind comes from, though. Because, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, all they're going to do is just money printer go burr, or it's just going to fade away into the debt in some infinitesimally small decimal that's not really going to affect anybody, because they're not going to walk out with a gang load of cash.
Right.
But still, can't be enforcing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Can't be enabling that kind of
and
behavior.
I'm not saying we should promote it, right? I'm definitely not saying we should promote it. That's it. I'm just not saying we should promote it.
There you go.
You got me thinking. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't have a good argument to counter you. So I know.
So I have to try to go back to base values.
I'm just thinking.
No, theft is wrong.
Well, I'm trying to. I'm more turning within myself. Like, okay, what's going on inside of you that you think this is okay? You know what I'm saying? Like,
to take money?
No, not just taking the money.
Kind of a Robin Hood thing,
I don't.
maybe?
No.
I mean, you're robbing from the rich, baby. If they use a non-insured bank, you're bad.
Certainly.
That's right,
certainly.
Ma. Oh, happy birthday, Ma. I know your birthday's
Happy
tomorrow,
birthday.
but you're here in the live chat, so I'm going to give you a happy birthday right now. I love you very much. Enjoy your beers.
I've just never had that much beef with it.
Robbing banks?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you kill somebody in the process, like I don't really.
That I've
makes for good movies.
Yeah, it's just not a criminal offense that I've ever heard about him. Like those bastards. Like it's not a thing that upsets me, you know. So that's why I'm thinking about it. Usually, things that are
you go in and steal racks of clothing from a store or something like that. That feels almost worse than just taking random cash that is essentially worthless at the end of the day. I mean, to the institution you're taking from, they're not really
and I guess it's not
really
that much different. Like if you're stealing clothes from a Walmart, it's not that much different. It's not different than taking money from a bank. It's either way, it's the property of that institution at the time that you're doing it.
And you're essentially, by stealing the product, you're stealing their money.
Right. So why do I? Yep. Okay.
You just have a really institutionalized or distilled hatred towards, the entire economic model that we deal with today, because they've devalued our currency so much, it becomes almost like, I don't care if you steal it.
I do have issue with it, yes. So yeah, I wonder. Yeah, you got me thinking. I'm interested now.
Well, fuck around with that for a while and see where you land. It's always going to be fun.
I wonder what my deal is with that. That's interesting.
Because you've been thinking about bank robberies for a minute.
For a long time.
Because of stories and things like that. So, it makes sense that you're like, well, is it really so wrong that this happened? Somebody goes in there and starts shooting it up heat style. Very different. Holding people hostage, keeping them under duress, threatening people.
Shouldn't be hurting people.
Don't hurt people. Don't take their stuff, bro.
Shouldn't be hurting people.
That's where I land. Seems a pretty safe place to hang out.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.